What's up, poker people? My name's Wes and this is my poker vlog. Today's cash game session takes place at Texas Card House in Houston, Texas. We're going to be playing a 5-5 no limit hold'em cash game session, and I'm going to buy in for $2,000 to get started. Wish me luck. For those of you new to my vlog, this game allows for unlimited straddles. You can straddle as much as you want in any position. This hand starts out pretty normal with $5 small blind, $5 big blind, and on the gun makes it $20 to go. Folds around to us, we have Jack 10 suited. We're definitely going to see a flop. I don't see any reason to 3-bet this hand. Small blind also calls, wants to see a flop. We're going to go this flop 3-handed in position. This hand plays really well. It hits a lot of flops. Just not that one. Unless they check to us, we're probably not going to be doing anything in this hand. The small blind does check. The pre-flop raiser is reaching for chips. He makes it $50 in the weirdest way possible. And I'm just going to fold. Now it's on the small blind. He thinks for a minute, goes for his chips, and makes a bomb raise of $250. Holy moly. Pre-flop raiser has no idea what to think about this. He takes over a minute to decide and eventually flicks in a call. Now the action is on to the dealer. He's also not sure what to do. He'll make a decision here in a minute. Okay. The turn card is a 5 of diamonds. This smashes the small blind's check raise range. He's definitely going to be betting this card no matter what he has. Oh, he checks. Now it's over to the pre-flop raiser. He decides to check too. Let's see a river. 9 of diamonds. The card doesn't really help either player. Backdoor flush is unlikely. Small blind thinks for a minute and then plops out a $500 chip. Oh, he gets snap called, ace deuce for 2 pair. Oh, the pre-flop raiser had pocket fours, flopped a set. Very interesting hand. I'm not sure about the check on the turn by the small blind, but it ended up working out for him. In this hand, I have a $20 straddle on the button. Small blind acts first and folds. The big blind calls the 20. Folds around to me, and I just check my option with Queen 4 offsuit. Well, we hit a pair in a limp pot. Small blind checks. I bet $20. Check raise to 75. Well, I hit a pair again in a limp pot. I'm not folding yet. 2 pair now. That's a good turn card. He bets 125. I'm just gonna call. I pretty much have to call any river after calling this, unless it's a king or an ace. Any brick is getting called, whatever he bets. That's a brick, all right. So I'm just gonna call any amount that he bets. And he bets 200, and I quickly call, and he shows pocket kings. Wow, I guess he was trying to trap me on my button straddle. Something to note when someone shows down a big limped hand on your button straddle, they think you're too aggressive. Okay, buddy, we're gonna get you later, I promise. This hand starts with me raising under the gun to $15 with 2 black 6s. There was no straddle in this hand because there was a nit on the button. I get 1 caller right away. For some reason the cutoff tanks and tanks for a $15 bet and finally folds. It's now on the button. He makes a raise to $80. We're so deep in this game, I'm definitely going to set mine with this hand, and I know Limpy Kings is going to continue too. Let's hit a 6. Complete miss. I'm just going to check. The cutoff checks as well. Now it's on the button. He decides to c-bet $125, and my wheels start turning. I can fold now, or I can check raise. We definitely can't call. We just have to decide, does this guy have it? Does he really have an overpair? Well, we're gonna find out. I raised to $400, the cutoff folds right away, and now it's on to the button, who takes over a minute to think, and think, and think, and think, and finally folds. We got it through. I actually don't play this hand, so I'm going to give some expert level commentary and analysis on what's going on in this hand. I straddled $20 on the button and the blinds fold, and Under the Gun calls the 20. Under the Gun +1 decides to make it $80 to go. He gets one caller in late position, the hijack. Now it's back around to Under the Gun. He wants to see a flop. Notice now the pot is $270 in this three-way hand. Flop comes out, Ace 3-8 Rainbow. It's a pretty dry flop. You're going to expect that most players that continue in this hand have an ace. Under the Gun checks, and it's over to the pre-flop raiser, who bets basically a third pot. This player's range is going to consist of mostly big aces. It's over to the hijack, and he decides to call. His range is made up of mostly ace-x hands that couldn't 3-bet pre-flop. He could have 2-pair at this point. Over to Under the Gun, who limp called pre-flop. I'm going to give this guy an ace rag hand. Everybody in this hand has an ace, and it's going to come down to the kicker. The turn is a 7, and this card helps nobody. We still just have a battle of aces. Under the Gun checks. It's around to the pre-flop raiser. He asks the hijack how much he has behind because he wants to orchestrate the perfect value bet size that will commit him, get him to pay off with a weak ace. Pre-flop raiser has ace king, ace queen. He knows exactly what to do to get value out of the hijack. He comes up with the perfect number, and it is $500? What is this guy doing? Is he bluffing, or is he just afraid to get his aces cracked? Anyway, the hijack calls, leaving himself maybe $100 behind. And we're going to see a river. The river is a 4, and this card helps nobody unless hijack had ace 4. The aggressor now checks. Maybe he is bluffing? Hijack goes all in for $110, gets snap called, and he shows 5-6 offsuit. I mean, he rivered a straight after turning an open-ender. What was this guy calling on the flop with? He has 6-5 on an ace 8-3 flop. He had to call on the flop just to turn a draw. And he did turn an open-ender, and he did go with it. This hand features a $25 button straddle and me playing 6-7 offsuit out of position. I start with a limp, Under the Gun limps, hijack limps. It gets around to the cutoff. He decides to make it 100 to go. Now this sizing is not quite big enough. You really need to make this probably 175 to 200. You've already got $100 in the pot out there. You just basically incentivized everyone to call, which is exactly what happens. I know I just have 6-7 offsuit, but I want to see a flop and a big pot. That is us. I check instantly. I'm definitely going to check raise. My worst nightmare is that this hand checks around. It checks all the way to the button. He tanks for a while and bets $350. We just got to fake it for a while. Act like we're doing some of that math we talked about in previous episodes, and then make a raise to $900. The players fold around, acting like it's impossible that they missed this flop, and we get around to the pre-flop raiser, who seems like he has a decision. Maybe he has a hand like pocket jacks or even 9s or 10s, and he's just not sure what to do. Doesn't really want to fold yet. He does decide to call off for $300. So over to the button. He's not sure what to do. He asks the dealer to bring in all the bets so he can see how much it is. It's only 550 more, which seems pretty small, and he calls. That seems like a pretty safe turn. I have $1,800 left. I'm just trying to get it in the middle. I tanked for a little while before going all in for $1,800. He tanks for probably over 2 minutes. Clearly he has some sort of showdown value, but doesn't know if it's any good. He decides to fold. What a bad river card. I probably just got counterfeit. I table my hand and sit there. The guy starts to muck and then pulls his hand back. Yep, I got counterfeit. Oh, don't do that. No, don't do that. Oh, he mucked. I win. What a bad river card. I can guarantee you the button definitely would have won this hand. And now we come to the part of the evening where people are willing to put $75 on the button without seeing their cards. So we have a $75 button straddle. Nobody seems to want a piece of it. I'm going to raise with King 9 offsuit. I make it $250 to go. I expect this guy to call 100% of the time. We just need one of two things, to hit the flop or for him to miss the flop. No. Oh, okay. We hit a 9. Definitely going to c-bet. Just praying he doesn't have an ace. I bet 200. He tanks for a little bit and calls. The turn is a king, and now we get to go from semi-bluffing to value betting. Now I hope this guy has an ace. I decide to bet 450. He thinks about it, and he makes the call. I really just don't want to see an ace on the river. River's an 8. Other than ace 8, ace 9, I'm really not worried about this. I'm going to value bet. This guy definitely has an ace, and now I just have to pick the perfect bet size to get paid off. I end up deciding to bet 800. This bet is less than twice my previous bet. I think this sizing is perfect. He'll call with all his aces. In this game, nobody ever folds an ace once they hit it on the flop, so it's just a matter of time before... he mucked. These final two hands I didn't get on video, but they were just too good to leave out. This hand starts with an under the gun straddle of 20. A few players call, and I've got jacks on the button. I make it 150 to go. We get heads up against limpy kings, and this is time for our revenge. Okay, maybe it's not time for our revenge. I'm not even gonna try to bet this flop. I turn a jack though, and he leads 200 into me. I give the old min raise to 400, he snap calls. River's a brick, he checks, I bomb $1,000, and he snap calls. We got him, boys. Take that, limpy kings. And this is the hand of the night. I raise king jack suited in the small blind over a button straddle. Got one caller and it folds around to the button. The button decides to call. We see a flop. King jack 4, but it's all hearts. I'm gonna go into check call mode, and I check call 85, and we get heads up. The turn is a king. I check. He bets 150, and I raise to 400. He calls pretty quickly. The river is a deuce of hearts. I bomb 1.5k, and he snap calls with just the ace of hearts. I originally bought in for 2,000, but I did end up adding on another 2,000 during the game. I was up and down all night. That very last hand actually got me in the positive, up a measly $465, but it's way better than being stuck. If you like these vlogs, please hit the like button. That's the only way I'll know to keep making them. Also check out my website, razorclothing.com, for poker hats, t-shirts, and hoodies.